So the reason I decided to highlight this game today, out of all of the games on it here, is because there are two major problems in the games industry at the moment, and I'm essentially taking a stand against both of them. And the first is, of course, the issues around mainstream games and the way mainstream games are designed and constrained by the world that they exist within. So mainstream games have a problem is that they are normally being produced by big studios, and big studios have big shell companies or parents or studios or essentially shareholders. And shareholders tend to be conservative. They don't like risks because risks mean that they might not make a profit and they might make a loss. So you can't create a game that is just a little risky, like a tiny amount. I mean, this is perfectly safe for work, but it is a little bit risque, and you can't really do that with a big company because it scares the shareholders. So I think the idea is that in mainstream games need to be more flexible. The shareholders need to have less influence over the actual development house, and of course there's sort of corresponding issues with how big development studios are run by people who aren't game designers, so they end up with stupid decisions being made about the games, and games that are constantly being malformed and restarted and things by people who should not be part of the decision process towards the content that goes into the games. But that's a separate argument. But here this is a statement against the way mainstream games are controlled by conservative people with the money, and this is why indie games are often better, because even though the game quality can be a little bit worse, the game content has so much more potential, possibility, flexibility, and that's the one issue. The other issue is, of course, this horrible storm of censorship through payment processes, from entities like Collective Shout, who are putting pressure on the payment processes, who in turn put pressure on game hosting sites, and you just have the censorship there. And this game is really an example of how nuanced the idea of adult content in gaming is. I mean, doesn't really count as adult content. This is just very slightly risque-ish hinting pinups. But it's perfectly safe for YouTube. It's perfectly safe for playing in a workspace. A coworker might jeer at you a little bit, but other than that, it's not. There's nothing obscene, as the word goes, in the content, and that's the problem. It's too. There is this edge to the idea of what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable, and Collective Shout's big steamroller of activism, which should not be allowed to have the levels of influence it does. They should have to be going through government entities, not applying direct pressure themselves. But their activism does not allow for fuzzy edges. It just steamrolls the innocent along with the guilty, and I mean it's quite ridiculous. It really is quite ridiculous. Anyway, so with that little bit of counter-activism in mind, let us play this game. This is Pin-Up Solitaire, and the developer is called Spring Melody. So it sounds very much like a female developer, and I think it seems pretty obvious that only a female artist would include a mascara stick in her pin-up art. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but it does feel like a woman's hand has actually designed the artwork and is probably the developer, if they are not the same people. I think they might actually be the same people. I don't think there's a credits page anywhere. You'd have to dive into the dev's own sort of homepage, which I think you can get to if you click up more. There is a help which tells you about how Klondike Solitaire works, which is the actual game. It is just a rethemed Klondike Solitaire. And there is music. Unfortunately, there are no proper quality of life sound controls. There's just turn the sound off. I would love to see the ability to just turn the music off, and of course volume controls separately for the music and for the rest of the game sounds. But we'll chat, we'll mention that again in the critique section. Let's just have a look at the gameplay. If you don't know how to play Solitaire, then I'm very pleased to show you how to play, because this is one of the great staples. Windows installs always had Solitaire on them, and I think it was a massive boon to people who were stuck in an office and couldn't leave, didn't have anything particularly interesting to do, just needed something that would allow them to relax and switch their brain to something else for a while. And that Solitaire button in Windows was a huge relief. That and Minesweeper. Anyway, let's click the play button. So this is our Solitaire playing field, as you can see, along with some absolutely adorable artwork on the royal cards, the face cards. So what we have to do is we have to stack all of the suits from ace to ace 2, 3, 4, etc., to the king, and we can only place, for example, the 2 of clubs on the ace of clubs if we want to create the ace, the club stack there. So we need to move these cards to get to the cards that are behind them. But how do we move them? There the rule is slightly different. You have to put a 3 onto a 4, and you have to put the cards alternating in the 2 suits, the red and the black. So a red 4 can only go on a black 5, and a black 3 can only go on a red 2. A red 4 and a red 2 can only go on a red 3. So that's the idea. That's how you undo the cards behind them, is by moving them around and changing those in the alternating colors. We have 10. Move that 10 over there. We have a 9. We can move that 9, but not. Oh, we can move that 9. Now, once you create a blank column, you can move a king onto that column. You can't move any other cards there, but you can just move the king onto that column. And then if you get stuck and you have no more cards that you can move, we do have cards that we can move, but once you get to the point where you have no more cards that you can move around, and that sort of abide by the rules, what you can do is then you have what you call the Klondike. So this isn't the full deck of cards. Some of them are over here, and you click on them to open them out. So we have a 2 there we can't put anywhere, and we have a 3. No, we can't put. We can put the 3 onto the 4. It's not necessary, but you can. It's good to have them out. You can just keep looping through the Klondike. And there are different kinds of Solitaire with different sets of rules and things like that. This is just one of the most popular sets, as it were. It makes it possible to actually finish the game, which a lot of other sets don't allow. But what we are looking for are the aces. We need to try and break an ace out so we can start stacking cards in our 3rd location. So this is the gameplay in a nutshell. I just want to play until we find an ace. There we go, there's an ace. So we have the ace of spades out. I love the little lipstick image there. The artwork in this is absolutely fantastic. We'll talk a bit more about that in the critique. We have 2 slots now that we can bring kings out if we find any kings and start stacking them up. We do have an 8 there. We have queen, but we have no kings to place the queen on. It's a pity that would allow us to move the jack. We have a 10, but no jacks. There is our king. We can move this queen onto the king. We have another king that we can move the red queen onto, but we don't have her available at the moment. And there is another jack, but we don't have a black 10 for the jack. Oh, another ace. Nice. Love the lipstick image. Always found lipstick very, very exciting as a kid. It was a very feminine thing that, I don't know, it spoke to me of femininity to be attracted to. It was very, Very intense. Oh, and we can start stacking those up. I'm always never sure whether to start stacking them up on the final thing. I always do, and it always seems to turn out okay. But it does mean there are less things that you can move stuff onto sometimes. Cool. That opens that out a bit. Once again, it's the ace of diamonds. That's the last ace I'm looking for. Let's see. Get the 6 over there. Oh, we can get the 5 over there and get that king out. We don't have the queen to put on it just yet. I think the queen is already in the corner. Oh, the last king. We don't have a 4 of hearts, do we? No. No, see? No. Oh well, we'll have to come back to the king. Oh, there's the 2. No 3 as yet. There's the 6. We can put that 6 over there. Oh, that allows us to move the 5. And we can bring the king out. That was a good sequence. Very, very satisfying. Anyway, I will stop playing at that point, and I will talk about the critique. Should we go back to the home page? And we can turn the music on. This is the music for the game, which is absolutely lovely. I don't know if it's a bit loud for you guys. I tried to turn that down a bit in the recording. But it is perfect for the game. A lovely music choice. Anyway, let's turn that off. Right, so the UI. Well, okay, we've done the gameplay section. If you were just here to see the gameplay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to come and give this game some love. There will be a link in the description. It's a good game. It's really well made. It's really good looking, and it is a solid favorite that lots of people love to do. So if you need to turn your brain off just for a little bit, and you want to look at some pretty pictures, there is, I think, very few better games that are just easy to get into. Yeah, Pin-Up Solitaire, a retro card game experience by Spring Melody. So. Yeah, if you're leaving because you've seen the gameplay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. If, however, you are here for the critique, well, the first one I said already, there are no quality of life sound controls. There is only one big mute button. It's the same as just muting it in the tab, and we don't want that. We want the ability to turn just the music off so we can still have that shift of cards. Yeah, we want all of those kinds of things. So yeah, quality of life sound controls, please. The sounds themselves, the sounds are quite nice. If we jump in and just, you've got a nice click there. We've got little beeps there. We have, I thought there was like shift noises of cards turning. You see, there's a nice card sound that very, very, very good sound, but it's drowned out by the music, and we can't turn just the music off. We can't turn just the music down. So yeah, that's why I complain about sound things. So otherwise, the game sounds very, very reserved, very quiet, very, very appreciable. The music is a beautiful choice, but we need, as a player, to be able to turn it down a bit and still keep the game sounds. Yeah, that's my critique there. The art is absolutely stunning. I mean, that's obviously, I think that's where this game is kind of where the developers and things have been focused on. They've taken an existing game style, very well implemented, very well run, and just put some absolutely stunning art onto it. And I think if you click on the More button, you go to the artist's Patreon, where it is actually, and they call them their Patreon an art club rather than a game development house. So yeah, this is very art focused, and I mean it's 100% plus bonus points for the art. Art's absolutely stunning. Feeling and gameplay. Well, I mean, there's not much space for immersion here. There's not much space for complex gameplay to be a factor. Cats are fighting. Yeah, this is just Klondike Solitaire. It's as a game that we know is enjoyable because it has been played in various forms for probably centuries. I have no idea how old Solitaire is. Probably variants of it as long as there's been card games. So that's going to be the well refined game that has come through those many decades of being fine-tuned and cleaned up and and adjusted to people's preferences and things like that. So the game is absolutely solid. It is a game that I assume the developers did not have to think about the design thereof. They just had to think about how to get it implemented and then how to put their art on top of it. If they're even built it themselves, there might have been a pre-built package of here is Solitaire, put your art onto it, and that's fine. People like games. It's free to play. You could just click on it in the itch.io link, and then go to the Patreon and give the devs a little bit of love for doing their beautiful art, because we need good art these days from real people. And I hope this is real art. I actually cannot tell if this is very cleverly done AI art. I mean, it's been well cleaned up as it is, which kind of justifies it a little bit if it is AI art. But I believe this to be real. I think it is really good art from a competent artist. Don't shatter my dreams and hopes there. Anyway, and that's it. That's enough showcasing for this game. Thank you for watching. I'm probably not going to do another Solitaire ever again unless I see one that I think is a good little bit of activism for the way things are doing badly in the gaming world at the moment. Although they're doing worse outside the gaming world. So come play some games for some relaxation. And come and watch my videos. And thank you for watching. And I hope to see you in the next video. And I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.